in the region and around the world. We have with us today Hamza Khan, co-founder of Letswork, and they place the UAE's best workplaces at your fingertips. Thank you for joining us, Hamza.
Thank you, Annie. How's it going?
Things are going great. So for those of you who haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on social media and download our app so you always get notifications of what we're doing. Now, as you know, BEntrepreneur and Brink have been collaborating on several things lately, and this Zoom interview is one of the things that we are working on together. So shout out to all our friends from Brink and thanks for all the support. Hamza, can you tell us more about Let's Work and what inspired you guys to start the company?
So Letswork is an app that helps people find places to work from, as you rightly said. So basically, we are a marketplace as well as a subscription platform. So you can either book or rent private offices or shared desks or meeting rooms on our platform, or you can subscribe for a membership package with us. We offer daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly packages, which allow you to gain access to and also enjoy a lot of perks at various co-working spaces and work-friendly hotels and cafes across the UAE. So we started a company about 2.5 years ago when my co-founder and I were looking for a place to work from. And we realized that either A, getting an office is super expensive, and B, working from places like Starbucks and Costa Coffee, for example, can become very expensive for people, before you know it, you end up spending, 70, 80, 90 dirhams, or I don't know how much that is in Bahraini dinars, maybe like 10 Bahraini dinars on just 2 coffees and a croissant. And working from home can be super distracting as well, and especially now in what we've seen in the last 12 months with remote working being at the forefront of everyone's minds. We have offices closed because of the whole pandemic, and people have been struggling to find a place to concentrate and focus because of all the different distractions at home, and that's where comes in. So basically, we connect you as a customer to any of our partner spaces, and at the moment we're only live in the UAE, but we're planning on scaling our business across different countries very soon as well.
Awesome. Let me get straight to it. COVID-19 has been one of the problems that the world has faced. How has your startup pivoted, during the COVID-19 pandemic? And how has it affected your business, first of all? And how did you pivot?
Yeah, so with COVID, it was super interesting because obviously at first, with the first month when the pandemic hit and there were lockdowns and restrictions everywhere, obviously we had to suspend operations and we had to pause all of our customers' memberships. And then when things started finally opening up, I mean, it was a gradual sort of progression back to normal. COVID hit at a very annoying time for us as well, because in February, March last year, at the time it was our best month yet, and we thought nothing could stop us, and we had all these plans to expand internationally, and then COVID hit, and then we were just had to suspend operations. But then since then, it's been a gradual progression back to normal as well. And I mean, in terms of pivoting our business during COVID, we didn't exactly pivot. I mean, I think our customer demographic pivoted, but essentially we started the business off trying to focus more on sort of freelancers and entrepreneurs and small businesses of 2s and 3s who were looking for an affordable and flexible sort of like a space to work from. And then that sort of changed to people who were employees of large corporations and large companies, whether these companies have either, completely closed their offices or they've allowed their employees to work remotely full time as long as they want. So, I mean, our customer demographic has changed in that regard. What's super exciting as well is that during COVID, what we realized was, I mean, so we partner with hotels and cafes and co-working spaces, right? And some of these hotels and cafes, I mean, for them, how they benefit is that we're bringing them footfall and we're bringing them, revenue during the day when they're the quietest. And then people are, coming and bringing their laptops and working from there and having meetings and working with colleagues and all that. So what we realized in the pandemic as well was that, hotels were struggling with occupancy, obviously, because travel restrictions were in place. So one of the things that we did, and we're still doing, is actually we converted hotel rooms in a lot of these different hotels that we work with, and we actually converted them into private offices. So we removed the beds, and then we actually replaced them with desks and chairs, and basically sold them as day office rooms for people to just book and rent from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And we initially did that with a select sort of number of partner hotels that we worked with, and then now we're sort of scaling that across different places as well, because it's something that sold really well. You know, people are one thing that's been like a thing that we're sort of trying to be at the forefront of is workcations. So I'm sure you've heard of, you know, staycations, which became super popular in the last, you know, few years, where, you know, because people don't want to travel or they can't travel, they've just been taking holidays like regionally or internally within their country. And then now we're trying to sell our workcation. So, you know, why not, you know, just leave your home or leave your office for the day and rent a guest room in a great hotel near you, and basically come and work from the room, come and work from the pool downstairs, from the cafe and everything. And you know, add some leisure to work. It's like work doesn't have to be boring, and it doesn't have to be sort of isolating.
Okay, this reminds me of something which is called digital nomadism, where you have,
Yeah.
yeah, you have your laptop, you have a great internet connection, you can work anywhere. And by the way, Letswork offers the free Wi-Fi and fast Wi-Fi, right, to all their customers.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So with the membership, I mean, so obviously with the ad hoc booking on the marketplace, so you can, you know, book and rent, you know, desks and offices and meeting rooms which come, you know, with access to those places. But with the membership, what's cool is that for the hotels and cafes that we partner with, you get perks like unlimited tea and coffee and water and 20% off food, and that basically comes out to the price of a coffee a day. So our memberships are super affordable as well. So instead of you going to, you know, a standard sort of, you know, international chain coffee shop where you're struggling to find the plugs and there's uncomfortable seating and, you know, it's loud and busy, we partner with sort of these handpicked independent spaces, which are really great spaces to work from. And then obviously there's unlimited tea and coffee, so you're good for that.
Co-working has become a very popular trend with the startup community, and even in Bahrain, like so many co-working spaces are popping up. And I think one just popped up like last week. So how do you see this
Mm.
continuing in the next 5 years for the UAE and for the startup community in general, like around the world?
So globally, co-working spaces are the only upward growing like trend in commercial real estate. You know, like you like and that sort of that has been accelerated by COVID as well, where, you know, you have large companies, corporations globally that were signing on to massive 20, 30, 40, 50,000 square foot leases in major office complexes in the prime parts of town, now actually changing their mind and thinking, actually, wait, we really don't need such a massive space anymore, because our employees, A, don't want to come to the office, B, are as productive at home, and, you know, for us to take on that capex sort of cost, is unnecessary. And so what co-working does, it allows companies to basically, you know, offer their employees a space to work from in a flexible way, and it's basically like a ready-made solution for them as well, as opposed to them, you know, renting a whole space out and then fitting that out and then just paying that and running and managing that space by themselves. They can just sign up their employees for a co-working membership at, like, you know, one of the spaces that you mentioned near them, and they can basically use that on a pay-as-you-go basis, which works well for the companies. It works well for the employees, depending on, you know, what their preferences are. Some people like working from like a professional office space or a co-working space, while some people like working from home, and some people like both. You know, they sort of, you know, like to go between the two. So it's all about giving employees a choice. And I think co-working as a general trend is going to continue over the next couple of years, for sure.
So let's talk about that for a little bit, like the sharing economy. So we share
Mm,
rides, we share office spaces, we share what else do we share? We share a lot of things. So the sharing
yeah.
economy, I just remembered Airbnb, Kareem, and all these other things. Why is it so popular nowadays? Like, why are we being so minimalist with the things that we do and we try to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, it's you're right. It's all part of that whole sharing economy trend. And I mean, I don't think it's about being a minimalist. I think it's more just about being efficient. You know, like there's like, why are we like, you know, why like, you know, why do you need so much space? Why do you need so many facilities? Why does everyone need, you know, their own office with their own pantry, with their own this, own bathroom, own that, everything? You know, like, why can't you just pool the resources? And, you know, like, why can't 10 companies, for example, join together and, you know, get one massive office together? It's basically the same thing, right? And there's nothing, I mean, other than privacy and you know, and sort of security reasons where people may not want to share certain resources. But I mean, if those are in place and you can sort of set, you know, create these sort of walls between them, then there's nothing wrong with sharing those resources and becoming a lot more both efficient with cost and time and effort, and just, and yeah, with everything. So I think co-working is basically the answer to the sharing economy before for commercial real estate, like the same way where Airbnb was the sharing economy result for hospitality, and so was Careem for ride hailing and taxis, and even e-commerce, for example, as well. You could, it's all part of the same story. Well, why do you need a shop for every single product? You can basically all do that in online, and then just basically have it delivered to you from a warehouse near you.
So, big question. Are you planning to set up shop in Bahrain? Because we're excited to have you here.
Yeah, we actually visited Bahrain. My co-founder and I, we visited Bahrain back in November 2019, and that was just before the pandemic. And we had a really, really good time. The EDB invited us there, and we actually visited a bunch of different co-working spaces. We visited Brink, we visited Space 340. We have a great relationship with both, even since then. We had a great chat with D1 Hub, which apparently is a really, really cool and up and coming co-working space in Bahrain as well. So, I mean, it's just waiting for the right time, right? I think we're glad we didn't go with the whole jump into international operations before COVID, because we would have, all that time would have been not wasted, but like it would have been a bit of like an anticlimax, where we launch international and then we have to shut down shop. And with all the restrictions and the volatility in cases, I think we're just waiting for the right opportunity to take the leap. And yeah, I think we once we play our cards right, I think it'll be super successful. Hopefully a super successful product both in Bahrain and internationally as well. Who knows which other cities will be hitting next.
Always try to end with this last question, which is what advice can you give to startups to innovate and create using minimal resources? Because now it's all about like using what you have like wisely and efficiently, and being more green and sustainable. So how would you advise
Yeah.
startups in the UAE in the region?
I mean, just look around you. I think the issue at the moment in the startup ecosystem is not funding. Like, I think there's a lot of money available. I think the issue is more the quality of the ideas, and a lot of people just not taking the leap. I think people simply just need to take the leap and really just be confident and believe themselves, and just to try, and if you do fail, I mean, fail quickly. It's better to, realize that something is not working and then fixing it quickly, as opposed to just stretching it out over years. Fail cheaply as well. So don't, spend millions of dinars on, tech or R&D or any other sort of stuff. Just figure out what your MVP or your minimal viable product is, and just build that and see how it works. And then continuously have this loop of tweaking it and working on it, and getting feedback, and then tweaking it and working on it and getting feedback to continually improve it. That's pretty much it. I mean, and yeah, I think a lot of people, I mean, I myself, for example, I was a lawyer before this. So I qualified as a lawyer in the UK, and I worked as a lawyer in both the UK and in Dubai. And I think, well, maybe lawyers themselves, they're risk averse because they don't want to, cause any like problems and stuff. But I think I think a lot of people, like especially my age as well, like they're too scared to take the jump, because we just end up living a very comfortable life once we're on this sort of trajectory. So yeah, I think if you have an idea, and if you think that there's something that you can generate revenue from, and you think you have potential, not just in Bahrain, always think global. I think sometimes as well with the region, we think of products that only solve very, very specific niche problems here in the region, when actually we should be solving problems which have potential to scale globally and internationally. And only then will we be a region which is thriving. Because if we continuously just make solutions for problems which are only faced the region, like, I don't know, cleaning apps, or or just copy paste sort of apps from abroad and bring them to the region. If we just continue doing that, then I think we're not doing ourselves justice. So yeah, just think global, and think smart.